Hey, what's good, you guys? It's Bakari So Real back again with a So Real trading video. Today is day 53, and I'm excited to just keep staying consistent with you guys. I'm excited every time I come on here now. Um, Not gonna lie, it's easier said than done. I'm not gonna lie to you. So shout out to all you guys who are YouTubers. Shout out to all you guys who are staying consistent and stuff like that. Because this stuff is easier said than done. Because sometimes I don't feel like getting on in front of the camera and getting on the video and giving you guys my analysis and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm not always confident. Sometimes I'm not always sure on where the direction is gonna go for a trade. And sometimes it's kind of like when I'm not so confident, sometimes it's kind of like discouraging and just a little bit when it comes to like putting content out and putting my analysis out, right? But I always tell you guys, nothing is guaranteed. Everything is just for educational purposes only. And the only way to succeed is to fail as much as possible because you have to fail as much as possible in order to get to the wins. In order to accomplish wins, you have to know what it's like to go through failures. You know what I mean? In order to accomplish wins, you have to know what it's like to go through losses. You know what I mean? So, but today though, we waking up on a win. Today we woke up on a win. Um, caught about 50 points on gold. I call it points, and when I say points, I really just mean like um, so gold went up about $50 this morning at 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I bought gold. I bought in a little bit below this entry. So I bought in at 41 at 4,020. At 4,020, I bought in and gold went all the way up to 4,000 like 80, but I closed out at like 4,075. And right now I have a small lot size running with my stop loss at break even. And as you see here, I added a quick long position just to like show you guys where we're at. And this is what we're looking at. So gold is currently trading above our entry level, which is above 40.50. Um, and this can be a buy signal for most of you guys. This can be a buy signal, but like I said, nothing is guaranteed. Um, I got my stop loss all the way down here at 36.89. And we also have the invalidation line at 38.55. So honestly, if we have a candlestick close below 38.55, we know that that's most likely continuation down to the next support level, which is between 3,500 and 3,200. Um, and so this trend line, I have gold. That's my aim and target. My aim and target is between 4,280 and 4,400. Between 4,280 and 4,400 are my targets. Um, if this body candlestick closes bullish for the daily, I might re-entry on another lot. I might add another lot for re-entry just to continue on for the week. Let's actually show the weekly time frame. Let's just zoom in on it. All right, so yeah, for the weekly time frame, you can see this candlestick is rising above our entry, which is our entry is 40.50. If this weekly candlestick closes above 40.50, then that's a good sign for bullishness. If I take everything away, you see that we have a bunch of wicks down here, so that's a good sign for bullishness. That's a good sign that buyers are pushing the price back up. That's a good sign that the market makers are earning enough money to move the price back up as well. And they're pulling enough liquidity from these to move the price back up. Um, so if this weekly candlestick closes green, that's a really good sign as well. And that's why I left a small lot size open. as a runner, just in case this week continues to run higher. We could literally see this one candlestick flip and go all the way up to 4,200 in 1 week. So it can either today is Tuesday, it can either happen by Thursday, where this candlestick can flip and go all the way to 4,200, or this candlestick can continue dropping. This candlestick can continue dropping and drop below 3,900. One thing though, is that CPI, all of the CPI data just got released, and what this we could go into the 4 hour. I mean, we could go into the 4 hour and see what the CPI data did for gold. And when we go into the 4 hour, we could see that during that CPI release for the US dollar, gold shot up. Gold didn't even come down for a bottom wick or come down to stop anyone out or anything. It just shot up. Gold went from 40 14 all the way up to 40 80, 40 89, 40 90. So that was really good. I wouldn't be surprised if the next 4 hour does kind of like take up a lot of this move that just happened. It usually does that. Usually after a news release and usually after a market pumps, the next stage is to take out at least 50% of that pump, and things like that. So be careful of that. But any buys in this area with a stop loss below 39.82 is not a bad trade. It's not a bad trade. So if you guys buy and you guys put stop losses below these support lines or support areas, it's not a bad trade. It's not guaranteed. There is a possibility that you can get stopped out, but it's not a bad trade. You know what I mean? Just because you get stopped out doesn't mean that it was a bad trade. You know what I mean? Sometimes it was a good idea. It was just wrong timing, um, or it was a good idea. Just sometimes you try to bait the market, but the market ends up baiting you, and it's not a bad idea. It's just that's just how it goes. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes sometimes. Not gonna lie to you guys, I took a big hit uh, on Monday. I took a big hit on Monday before the market closed on Monday, and I was almost about to like not trade this morning for CPI release. I was almost about to not trade the news, but I got my confidence back, and I realized that what I was doing was not bad. I realized that what I was doing was I wasn't taking bad trades. It's just that the market was just constantly liquidating that area, constantly pulling from that area that I was trading at. So I just took a break. I took like a few hours of a break. I took my mind off the market for a little bit, and then I got my confidence back, and I came back in, and I said, you know what? This is not a bad trade. This is not a bad idea. You know what I mean? To trade from this level, to buy from this level is not a bad idea. And what I did, I did increase my stop losses a little bit, but I that's because I had the capital. You know what I mean? If you got the capital and the amount by me increasing my stop losses, the amount that I would have lost if the market would have stopped me out, I would only lost probably like 15 to 20% of my account. Probably like 15 to 20%, which 15 to 20% still kind of is a lot. If you think about it, like depending on what you have in your account, you shouldn't be losing like more than 10% on a day in a day. You shouldn't be losing more than 10% in a day. So I try to keep my losses below 10% on a daily basis, and I try not to trade every day. I try to trade like 2 to 3 times a week, so that way if I take a loss, if I have a completely losing week, then I should only have lost like 20 to 30%. But 9 times out of 10, I could get at least one out of those three trades um, to make up for it. So I end up, if I do have a bad week, I usually lose like I said, like 15%. You know what I mean? So you want to keep your risk management down. You want to have proper risk management, but just also always keep in mind and just understand that just because you take a loss doesn't mean it wasn't a good trade. Um, and doesn't mean that you should give up and walk away from the markets. Um, and that was something that's something that I think is important, man. Don't just walk away from the markets, man, because how many times can y'all say that those times when you did walk away from the market, you look back and you see that the market ended up going the same direction that you knew it was gonna go, and that even makes you more upset because you're like fuck, I walked away and it didn't, and it ended up going the direction that I knew it was gonna go. So you just it's okay to take a break, but never walk away. Take a break, regroup, reset your mind, and then get back on it and get back on it with confidence, and you'll be all right. Um, so what I'm looking for is just a lower high out of gold. I'm looking for a lower high out of gold. We can get a lower high at 42. We could go to lower high at 44. We could get a lower high at 48. Do I think gold is going to reach 5,000? It's possible if gold starts going up right now, if gold starts smashing up before the end of August, then we can wait, let me see. If gold starts smashing up before, if we get back above 4,400, if gold gets back above 4,400 by the first week of August, then I do believe that we could reach 5,000 by the end of August. I do believe we could reach $5,000 by August, by the end of August. So that's what we're looking for. So we got about like 2 weeks left. We're in the middle of July right now. Um, let's see what happens. Is gold? Let's see if gold is gonna continue down and come through 3,800. If gold closes below 3,800, we know that we're less likely gonna see $5,000. We're most likely gonna continue to downtrend. For those of you guys who are watching my video for the first time, I'm gonna show you uh, where I think the direction is going overall. And where I think the direction is going overall is we're going to continue to come down to create this bottom support structure. We had 3 times where we could have did it, but we didn't. There's 3 times where gold continued to go higher instead of coming down and creating a bottom structure and proper support at the $2,000 range from the time that gold broke out back in 2024. Um, Gold still hasn't came down and created a bottom support. So it's just like gold has sort of just been like rising up super high, sort of like the stock market. How everybody knows that the stock market is coming to a bubble and a huge sell-off is going to be happening soon, right? So that's the same thing for gold. We know that gold has been rising up high over the last 2 years into a bubble, and a huge sell-off is going to be happening soon. We partially have started to reverse, and that's why the question is, are we even going to continue going higher, or is this going to be the first step of the sell-off? Um, was that reversal of the first quarter of the year, the reversal in the first quarter of the year, was that the first step of the sell-off for gold, or was that just a correction to bounce back for new all-time highs? That's the question, and I think that answer is going to be answered by the middle of August. So within the next 30 days, I think that's going to start to be answered for us, and we're going to start to see where the market is going. I know one thing as gold, if gold does start to rise higher, I will be looking for my short positions, right? Um, mainly just depending on the volume and depending on where the setup is at, on how the body candlesticks are looking. I'll be looking for my sell positions. Um, but and then once we do come down for the sell off, and once we do come down to like 2,500, which will be sometime next year, I believe, sometime next year, gold will hit 2,500 unless gold starts to sell off now. But once we tap 2,500, I'll be definitely dollar cost averaging for the long term buy. I believe that gold will be rising up to like $10,000 in the future. So definitely a really good investment for that once gold starts to do that correction. Definitely going to be a really good investment. Um, for there's a lot of people who got money right now who are dollar cost averaging right now, even with gold being near recent highs at $4,000. There's people who are dollar cost averaging into gold right now, regardless of the fact that gold can potentially sell off by 50%. there's still people who are buying more and more and more gold right now, for the future, you know. So if you do have that capital, why not? Why not? If you do have that capital, why not? Just keep dollar cost averaging and buying gold for the future, right? Um, but yeah, we're going to continue to monitor this on a daily basis. Um, I want to just leave my trade running for today. Wednesday is always tricky too. Uh, the market closes at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then the Wednesday daily candlestick is will start at 3 p.m. So I'll be back tomorrow to go over it and see where we're at from there. So this is day 53. Shout out to you guys for watching this video. Wishing you guys nothing but much love, much success, much abundance, much peace, much prosperity, much joy, all that, man. If you watch this video all the way to the end, I know you're going to be successful. All you got to do is continue to stay consistent and be confident in yourself. Don't let nothing discourage you or disappoint you. Just continue to go hard, man. All right, see you guys on the next one. Peace.